As you know, a few months back, when I made the change to unslaved media, it was because I wanted to dedicate maybe 10% of my time to covering things other than Magic cards. Because, well, most people have more than one hobby, and I felt like I was just getting too deep and too dependent on the success or failures of Magic the Gathering to really enjoy making YouTube videos. And so I've been on the lookout for different TCGs. Like I've talked about Megacorp, I've talked about Dragoborn, and I will be talking about the Star Realms. I've talked about Hero Realms. I've got a stack off camera, a mile high, of different types of games that I think my core audience, which is still Magic players, will really enjoy. And I spent last weekend actually playing inside this deck box here is my fully sleeved, fully ready to go Epic card game. Whoops. And I really like that game. And I had a friend come over and we played Hero Realms, or Star Realms, and I really enjoyed that. And it got me to thinking about the cost of playing Magic and exactly what the future of trading card games were. And I've said for about a year now that I think the hamster wheel of playing standard in the Magic format is exhausting. It's exhausting because of just the physical and mental investment. It's exhausting in the terms of the financial investment. And so things like cubes and what I think are like living card game and deck building games are at a point right now where they're really on the strong uptick. I see a really bright future for these self-contained games, these deck building games, where players who already play a game like Magic or even Hearthstone or Eternal or something like that can get that same sort of experience or similar experience without spending $1 million. And so last week, I meant to shoot this last weekend, but I just didn't have time. I picked up the brand new expansion pack for the DC deck building game from Cryptozoic. I consider Corey Jones, CEO of Cryptozoic, at least at a personal acquaintance. We talk here and there. I really like what they put out. I also had to pick up, actually, I'm sorry, this is the original deck building game, which I picked up. And this is the new expansion, which just came out last week, the Multiverse Box. And I thought, why not unbox this and take a look at what's going on? What you need to know about this deck building stuff is what we have here is a really nice expansion, and the cost is like $25. I picked this up at my local game store, TK Games, where I will be pre-releasing at their premium event at midnight. And it kind of blew my mind because it's like if you owned the core set, which I think was, what, $39.99 I paid? This is, you know, your 30-minute self-contained games. You can play as Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, Green Lantern, Cyborg. Justice League is ready for action. The games take about 30 to 45 minutes, and you have kind of everything you need right in this box. Play up to 5 players. Then they release expansions all the time. This happens to be the Multiverse Box. What's different about this one is inside the DC deck building game Multiverse Box, you can store all the currently available cards. That's why it's so big, and that's really cool. Dominion, I think, does this. But each time they release an expansion, they're also selling you basically a new deck box so you can store everything properly. With plenty of room for expansions to come, including a multiverse crossover pack that is available exclusively in this box. The pack offers new competitive gameplay experience that makes use of your entire giant box of cards. So this actually adds 33 new cards with 7 oversized multiverse location cards, 22 dividers, foam spacers. Let's open this actually. What I like the most about these deck building games is they can sit in your closet. And so the game I played last week, Star Realms, is really similar to drafting and also doing damage. It took me about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We played one sample game. I think that whole game I spent like $30 on maybe. And I loved it. It was a lot like drafting, and the mechanics were simplified, of course, compared to Magic. However, I think these deck building games or living card games have a really bright future because people can't always afford to spend, $60 every time something comes out. So what you get here is these. What you're really paying for is like this deck box, right? That comes with all these spaces. I will honestly say, like, I'm not trying to sell these things, but this is a really well-made box. It's not like those gift boxes you get from Magic. Oh, they've gotten better. That are kind of garbo. This is a well-made box, and all your expansions can fit in here. But let's look at the cards you get. So here's the crossover pack. Ugh. My only gripe about these is like, well, hold on a second. Let me get this other one. And they also have these redeemable codes. Collector play with all 30 1-inch wooden figures. Blind bag assortment with 3 characters per pack. Yeah, the blind bags. I'm not a fan of those in any game, but we'll see if I can actually figure out if I can get this open. That would be convenient for all of those watching at home. Okay. Probably just put ink on one of the cards. Good Lord. Please let me remember to not... Please let me remember to cut this out. All right. So you have... They have basically an ad card for the meeples. But you've got your new randomizer cards. You've got event cards. What do we got here? Oh, okay. Here we have some new creatures. We have Blue Beetle, Dick Grayson, Batman, Flashpoint Aquaman. Basically, you think about these as like expansions. And imagine if you had, your standard deck, and once every couple of months you could add expansions to each ones. These are nice. I don't know, what would you call them? Like, they're like acrylic or plastic made. But you have all these neat little dividers now. So when you put your stuff in the box, you have stuff to label everything. These are all the expansions too, by the way. So like, you could have a serious amount of expansions. And here we have the oversized event cards too. Let's take a look at those. So how many of you out there have played a deck building game? I think, price alone makes something like this worth checking out at least. Fawcett City. I like this. 30th Century Metropolis. If you play 2 or more heroes during your turn, choose a foe. Resolve your champion's attack first appearance. Attack against that foe. So you have just little game modifiers in these event cards. These are your new cards for the set. I mean, that art. Why? I mean, damn. That is good. It's good to see Cryptozoic drawing their women like women, if you know what I'm saying, instead of like men. I mean, just to be, specific here. If you read any Marvel comics, it's nice to see. Here's all the expansion cards too. So it's not like a huge expansion, but each expansion you get for a game like this helps diversify the game. You can play with some sets, with different sets. You can basically customize your game however you see fit, and it all works together. And I think more people should give deck building games at least a look. Most game stores, like my local game store, they let you come in and play a lot of games. They have a lot of games in their collections. I mean, the game is not complex. You have very thin instruction manual. And I think deck building games are, I don't want to say the future, because people always play Magic, as far as I'm concerned. But they have a very bright and strong future because of their affordability, scalability, meaning it's always fun to play. You can mix and match. You can put them all in like this nice ultimate guard, flip and tray box if you want. Although with the deck building games, you probably want to keep them in here. And build it however you want. Have a ton of fun and not spend hundreds of dollars every 6 months when things rotate out. So I hope you enjoyed this kind of board game Saturday. YouTube is having some issues today, so hopefully I can get it uploaded today, but if not, you'll see this on Sunday. Let me know what you think about the future of living card games, of deck building games. What ones should I check out next? What ones do you personally like to play? I definitely would love to have a conversation with you in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.